So I've been living in Taiwan for over 15 years now. And in that time, I think I've done a pretty good job adjusting to the culture and lifestyle here. But it's gotten to the point where I'm starting to feel more Taiwanese than Belizean. I might even drop a heya here and there, even when I'm talking to other foreigners. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, except I know no matter how much I blend in, I'll never be Taiwanese. I need to sharpen this knife. Sure, if I really wanted to, I could apply for Taiwanese citizenship, but would that actually make me Taiwanese? On paper, yes. On the street, no. Taiwan's not like America. In America, you might call someone an African American, a Latino American, or an Asian American, for example. But at the end of the day, they're still American. They're one of yours, just a different flavor. I think I probably need to watch a tutorial on how to cut oyster mushrooms. In Taiwan, as long as you don't look East Asian, you're automatically designated Waiguoren. And for those who might not know, this is a traditional Taiwanese dish called mayo ji tang, and it happens to be my wife's favorite dish, at least the one that I cook. Some people might find that offensive, but I don't particularly mind because I get it. Citizenship is invisible, and the concept of a non-native citizen doesn't really exist in Mandarin. I mean, it's not like English where you can just slap on a suffix at the end, like Taiwanese American, Korean American, or Japanese American. In Mandarin, there's no 英台湾人, 美台湾人, or the Taiwan人, as far as I know. The language just doesn't work that way. So in Taiwan, you're either a Taiwan人 or a Waiguoren. Again, this doesn't offend me, but it does get me thinking about my own culture and how I've been neglecting it lately. Which reminds me, I haven't had a proper Christmas in a long time. So I think I should probably do something about that. And since the Taiwanese government just recently made December 25th a national holiday, I think that's gonna help me a lot. Now they call it Constitution Day, but as far as I'm concerned, it's Christmas. Smells like it. It looks like it a little bit. I don't know how it tastes though. The texture is a little different. Still pretty good though. So, since I've been living in Taiwan for such a long time, and I'm married to a Taiwanese, locals often ask me if I have a Taiwan 身份证. I think everyone just assumes that once you get married, you'll automatically get Taiwanese citizenship. But it doesn't work that way. In Taiwan, there are several ways to obtain legal residency. The first is the ARC, or Alien Residence Certificate. And ARC is the most basic and is the one that most foreigners have. It gives you the right to reside in Taiwan, allows multiple re-entries into the country, and if you do the right paperwork, it allows you to use the e-gates at the airport like Taiwanese citizens. To get it, you'll have to show proof of employment at a Taiwanese company or enrollment at a Taiwanese university. You'll also have to pay an application fee of 1,000 NTDs. The downsides are it needs to be renewed every year, and because it's based on your study or employment status, if you leave school or lose your job, you'll also lose the right to reside. Then there's the APRC, the Alien Permanent Residence Certificate. It's like an ARC, but much better. Like the name implies, it's permanent. You don't have to renew it every year, and it's not tied to your employment. So you can work for any employer, start your own business, or even freelance without needing a specific work permit tied to one company. You also don't lose your status if you become unemployed for whatever reason. This makes it more difficult for employers to exploit you. If you don't like the working environment, you can simply leave. No one can threaten to revoke your residency in order to force you to stay. But as you can imagine, it's harder to get. You'll have to be a tax-paying resident for 5 consecutive years. Your monthly income should be more than double the monthly minimum wage, which is about 58,000 NTDs. You'll need to pay a one-time application fee of 10,000 NTDs. And of course, you'll need to have a clean criminal record. I guess the government wants to make sure that only those who'd make positive contributions to the country are allowed to have permanent residency, the way it should be in every country. The downside is that if you leave the country for more than 6 months without applying for a leave of absence, it will be revoked. Next is something called the JFRC, or Joining Family Residence Certificate. Now, this is not what it's called officially, but I'll call it that because it gets the idea across. In Chinese, it's called the 依亲居留证. It's basically an APRC you get by marrying a Taiwanese. People who apply for this one do so because they're married to a Taiwanese but haven't met the requirements for an APRC. The GFRC is technically easier to get, but that all depends on whether or not you think finding someone willing to marry you is easier. An APRC and a JFRC are basically the same as far as rights are concerned, except that with the JFRC, your status is in someone else's hands. If you get divorced or your spouse dies, you can lose your residency. So the APRC is still the preferred one to get. And finally, there is naturalization. To become naturalized, you'll have to be a legal resident of Taiwan for at least 5 years, be 20 years or older, have a clean criminal record in Taiwan and your birth country, prove that you have the ability to support yourself financially, and prove you have basic Chinese ability. If you become a naturalized citizen, of course, you'll have all the rights of a normal Taiwanese person. Your right to stay can never be revoked. You have full political rights. You can vote. It will be easier to get a mortgage and buy property, and you'll get a national ID number. The biggest drawback, in my opinion, is that Taiwan doesn't normally recognize dual citizenship. So you'll have to renounce your previous citizenship. You'll have to choose between Taiwan and your birth country. For some people, renouncing their original citizenship is worth it. For others, it's not. Now, I've been eligible for naturalization for a long time. I love Taiwan, but it's not really practical for me. That's partly because I'm already a dual citizen with another country, and partly due to what I mentioned earlier in the video. Yes, on paper, I'll be Taiwanese, but in public, I'll always be a 外国人. So for me, the APRC is the sweet spot. I can live and work in a country I love while still retaining my identity.